Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. It's going to be on the jet ski, the SLT 750 for 500. So I'm going to start getting the exhaust pulled out of this thing. I'll show you guys. We're going to get the exhaust out, some of the intake apart, get the motor ready to come out. I did discover a few things when I was poking around. I will share in this video. The rest of the jet pump is going to be coming out of this. Then there's some things that I'm not exactly sure how we're going to handle or how we're going to go about it. I don't know what they got done here. Somebody's really been in here doing a lot of playing around, but we're going to get it figured out. You know, that's the main thing. If we got to fix some fiberglass, got to fix some fiberglass. It's a project. We're going to get it done. I promise you we'll get it running. We're going to get it running. Cut the camera off, get back in. I'll get the camera rolling, get you guys in there and show you what we're going to remove first. First things first, guys. We're going to have to remove this strap right here that holds the muffler on. It's just a rubber strap. They don't even have it in here right. So we're going to get that out. Next, we got to remove the exhaust hose. This hose right here. I'll show you once we get it off. Alright, now that we got that out, we're going to have a pile of parts in this garage. We can focus on getting the muffler out, or the water box I should say right here. We got to get these clamps off. This piece can be a bear if it's never been off, and be honest with you guys. There's two clamps on it. One for the manifold and one for the water box. Let me start working them out. Also, this line here, guys, I'm just going to pull the lines. This line back here, right here, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to take that off at the pump, and I'm also going to take it off underneath the, I guess this is the water return. I apologize. In one of my videos, I thought it was the intake. It might still be. I thought it was a water inlet. It's been a long time since I worked on one of these. Let me get those bands loose, those band clamps, and we'll see what we got going on. I already see some more funky stuff. One thing I wanted to show you guys real quick is I noticed that there's a hole back here, like somebody had a bilge in here. Well, you start working on stuff, you start finding stuff. Right here's the water return line. I don't know if you can see me grabbing it right there. It's broke right off. That's why it's all nasty inside the hull. I could tell it had a lot of water in it. So I did do a spark check on this thing, and it does have spark. So we're gonna go forward with the project right now. They do got something funky going on underneath. I'll show you guys in the pump. I hope it's not what I think it is. I hope it's not 3M 5200. They hit something, so that intake crate's broke. But right here, I don't know what that is, and I'm starting to get nervous. Because if I find out the inside of that's all tore up, that's it. I'm just parting this thing out, guys. But we won't know until we get the motor out and we get the rest of that pump off. So let's keep on going. Alright guys, I got the clamps loose right here. This one came out really easy. You just pull back on it and lift out. There's water in it, so I gotta check this thing for cracks. I gotta check the block for cracks. Cylinders, I should say, because I don't know if this thing was winterized or not. Up here in Michigan, it gets cold. Let me get that other water line off I showed you guys earlier, and I'll cut the camera back on when we start working on the exhaust manifold. Alright guys, for the sake of this video, I'm going to take this sensor out. This is a temp sensor. Don't do what the person before me did. See how they got this all wrapped up? I got to ohms check this wire to make sure it's still good. It's very important. You should be taking it apart down here at the CDI box, right where my finger's pointing, and pulling it out of there so it doesn't get all wound up. But somebody didn't do it that way, and I have the piece off. So I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Let me get the camera set down. We're gonna pull that off. I'm gonna have to figure out the proper way to check this sensor because it's really wound up. I need to make sure that it still works. I'm gonna leave the tube on the other side of this for now. Next steps here, it's gonna be these 4 bolts, and I believe Oh, we can leave that water line on. It stays on the manifold. Let's get those 4 bolts off. Let's get the top side of that manifold loose, and we'll see what we got. What's next? This might have to come off. I believe it might go to the bottom side of the manifold. No, I think it can stay on. Well, I'll let you guys know in a minute. And there's some bolts up here where else are gonna have to get off. I'll let you know exactly what size is here in a few. This bolt here, this nut with the flathead, I'm trying to think of the proper name. Give me a minute, I'll think of the name of it. It's gonna be 9/16 carriage bolt is what they got in here. I'm gonna see if we can do this without removing the bottom bracket. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time. So be careful you don't drop any of this stuff down in the hall. It doesn't really matter when you're pulling the motor out. When you start to put this motor back in, you're gonna hope you don't drop anything. And I believe these are 18 mils. I'll get back to you in a minute on that. Right guys, these top exhaust bolts are gonna be 18 mils or 3/4. See if I can get any of these loose in my 3/8. There we go. There's one. I'm trying to hold the camera and do this for you guys. There's 2. Alright, let me go get the big dog 1/2 inch and get this finished up. Alright, I got my big 1/2 inch impact out with a 3/4 on it. Right out like butter, baby. Let me get the other one out and I'll get back to you. I want to point out on a couple of these bolts, you can't use a big impact socket. The wall is too thick unless you got a thin one. So before you say, oh, Mr. SRX, you're not using impact sockets, you're going to shatter them. Well, I don't have a choice. I don't have a thin wall. Otherwise, I would be using an impact socket. All right, let me fight that out of there, and I'll show you exactly what it takes to get it out. Pay attention on your exhaust bolts. You got 2 taller ones, longer for the front, 2 shorter for the back when you're putting this back together. Okay, guys, down here on the back, you got a motor mount bolt, and you got 2 exhaust bolts. They look like 1/2 inch or 9/16. You see them right there? I'm gonna get those off, and I'll probably pull that motor mount bolt out, get this rubber boot out of the way. Now you can see a little bit better. We got to get those out of there. We got to get that whole mount out of there. Okay guys, those are 1/2 inch, and I got a long extension. They're pretty much loose. I don't know, from vibration or somebody could have been playing, like I said. And I believe that motor mount bolt is going to be a 3/4, which it is. It's a 3/4 inch. So let me finish backing these out. We'll get that motor mount nut off there, and we'll get this whole bracket out of the way, and hopefully this slides out. Not going to lie guys, this little bracket, I really had to work it. I had to fight with the exhaust, wiggle it around. It popped off, so it's off. And I wasn't joking about the bags. Put everything in bags, guys, and label them on a big project like this. Alright, now that the manifold's loose, you're going to want to work it around. You'll get this front carriage bolt out. I believe now we're going to have to get this bracket off. I'm thinking it rotates, this rotates up and out. Not 100% sure, because I don't know how else you'd get to these other manifold bolts. So I believe these are 9/16. There's 2 of them hiding down in the hall here. I'm just going to get those out off camera. You're never going to be able to see me get those out. I'm just going to take a little ratchet and get it in there. Once we get this bracket off, I'll get the camera back on. Let's see if we can get this exhaust out of here. These 2 bolts down here holding your bracket on, they're going to be 5/8. And when I say these are tight to work on, it's starting to get tight in there. One thing I want to mention is this bracket is slotted. So that second bolt, it's actually slotted on both bolts. I think you can get away with just loosening it up to slide this out. Now let's see what it takes to get the rest out. When I put this back together, I'm probably going to do it without the fuel tank and oil tank in here. You can't slide this out and rotate it up, so I got to get the bolts off that hold the main manifold. Once you slide this forward, you can get to all the bolts, it feels like. Just got to fight with it. Let me figure out what size they are, guys. I'm not really going to be able to show you doing it. I hope you can see in the camera back there. They're back there. I'll let you know what size they are, and I'll start working on them. Half was a little loose on these. I know I'm telling you guys metric and standard sizes, but an 11 seems to be right, and you don't want to be stripping these out. So I'm going with an 11. I'm gonna break them all loose, and we'll get this manifold down, and we'll see what it takes to get the rest of that pipe out. Alright guys, I got the exhaust manifold bolts out. I think I got them out. Oh, I lied to you. There's going to be 3 on each manifold. Let me get the last ones out. As I was pulling the last bolt out of the intake, I noticed that the bottom bolt on the back side of this intake was missing. So that's another thing that could cause it to run lean. So I'll pull this manifold out. There's a hose on this back side down here. I'll loosen up that hose clamp. Let me get it off. Let me pull that out. Then we'll pull the exhaust out. Alright guys, that hose is off. Here's this piece of the manifold. I'm going to lay it down. The other piece I got to bring up, there's a, like I said, on the back side here, there's a sensor right there. The proper way to undo that sensor would be to get in the fuse box, pull the wire out. For this video, I'm just going to take a crescent wrench and unscrew it. And there also is going to be another water hose at the bottom here you're going to have to take off. Once we get that off, I'm going to cut this video. We'll do the intake side next time. Like, comment, subscribe, drop in the comments if you could have done it better than me, a better way. Thanks for watching.